This video is about the first assessment item in JSB172, the Annotated Bibliography. So I'm just going to go over the information that's on the task sheet and a little bit of what's on the criteria marking sheet. And there's no new information in this video, it's just communicated through a different medium. Okay, so your first assignment is your annotated bibliography, and that's worth 20%. That is due on Monday, emphasizing Monday, 20th of March at 9 PM, and that's in week 4. You will do 5 times 150 word annotations. Your annotations are 150 words long, and there's 5 of them. This assignment is to build your knowledge of searching databases, determining what sorts of types of sources are scholarly and what's aren't, and referencing them. You'll also be assessing the relevance of sources and writing annotations in a manner that we teach you. We go through all these skills in the first few lectures and tutorials, so you learn all the relevant skills in class. And this assignment also helps you prepare for the next assignment, the literature review. So we've got a range of scenarios you can choose from, and a range of subtopics in between, within those scenarios. So you choose a scenario and then you choose a role within the scenario. So for example, there's a scenario about asylum seekers, and you might choose the role of a policy officer or a human rights lawyer or an asylum seeker advocate. Another example is there's one about women's prisons, and there's again a policy officer role, there's a criminologist role, I think there's a youth worker role, youth or social worker role. So you choose a scenario and a role, and these are available in the assessment section on the Blackboard site. You use both this role and scenario for both this assignment and the literature review. So you take this work forward to the literature review, the second assessment item. You locate 5 scholarly, peer-reviewed and current sources related to this role and scenario using the QUT library catalogue and databases. Now, there might not be sources that relate particularly to your role and scenario, but there will be sources talking about relevant issues, or that relate to the role, or that relate to the scenario, and you have to identify information within that work that relate it specifically. How is it relevant to you within your role and scenario? You present these sources as a 150-word annotation. Now, each annotation starts with the reference, which we learn about. So that's the author, the title, that sort of thing. And the reference is not part of the word count. And then you do a 150-word annotation summarizing the source. You summarize what the source speaks about, the key argument of the source, and then how it's relevant for your role in your scenario. And you organize all your annotations alphabetically by author surname. It's really important that you choose a range of academic sources. So for example, journal articles, books, book chapters, and government reports. So we don't want work where all your sources are just journal articles. We want a variety. They don't have to be from Australia, but they do have to be relevant to your role and scenario. Now, on the back of the task sheet, we have an example of how your annotation should be set out. And I've broken this up with little guiding text saying which each part is, so it should be really, really clear how you should set your annotation out. We go over this in tutorials, and also I do an online chat for every assessment item, and I go over this then as well. Now, presentation. You need to use Word documents because they work best with our online system. Your text needs to be double-spaced in 12-point font. Each annotation begins with the reference, and put your reference in bold text. And then follow that with your one paragraph annotation of 150 words. You also need a cover page, and this is the same for all assignments in the school. So that has the title of the assessment, so you would just have a JSB172 Annotated Bibliography. Your name, your tutor's name, and your student number, and then the role and scenario you're addressing. Now you also need to put these little statements of authorship. That's really clear on the task sheet. You just copy the text. You submit it via the unit Blackboard. The system's called Turnitin, but it doesn't actually say Turnitin anywhere. It just will say like submission area or something. I show screenshots of this in the online chat and I think in the first lecture. And then your work is marked via this system and you get it back that way as well. Your tutors electronically mark the work with comments, and we fill in the marked criteria sheets. I go over the online submission system really clearly, and it's fairly straightforward, but we do make that clear. Now, you're assessed on things such as search strategies, whether you show the relevance and understanding of your sources and whether the sources are relevant. You make clear how your sources contribute to your topic. You summarize the main argument. And your writing needs to be clear and concise and have the required elements and use QUT Harvard referencing system. Again, I go over the criteria sheets in the online chat. It's really important you listen, you come to the online chat or you watch the recording of it because everything is spelled out super clearly if you're still confused. Anyway, I hope that has been helpful, and make sure you come to the lectures and participate in the tutorials to learn all the required elements of the assessment.